What is going on, YouTube? And the time is finally here. I have been in the lab cooking up some of the best sliders to enhance your Madden 23 gameplay. And I think I got some that are really going to help create a more realistic experience. But before I talk to you about the sliders, I want you to kind of get an understanding of what these sliders are meant to do. And there are really three things that I try to accomplish with my sliders. The first being realism. I want the gameplay to feel like an actual NFL football game. The second thing is diversity in plays. I want to be able to call the same play against the same coverage and have different outcomes, and I'll show you examples of that here shortly. And the last thing I want to accomplish is try to help with some of maybe the OP or underutilized things in Madden. We all know that sometimes Madden errors on the side of maybe making passing too hard, running too easier, maybe DBs are undercutting the ball and intercepting too much. So I try to bring balance to the game. So balance, diversity, and realism is what my sliders are all about. If you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe and like so that you never miss any of my slider update videos, because I will be constantly updating my sliders as the year goes on. Also, I do have a Discord. You can follow the link down in the description. I will constantly be updating different versions of my sliders so that you might find a slider set that works specifically to you, because remember that sliders are not one size fit all. Everybody plays the game differently. Everybody's good at different things. So sliders do not work for every single person. Also, if you follow me over on Twitter, you can just shoot me a message or DM me if you have questions about things. I'm very active on Twitter, so don't hesitate at all to reach out. I'll be glad to help in any way that I can. All right, so one of the things I mentioned at the start of the video was diversity. So here's the same play I'm running over and over again, and you're seeing different outcomes here. Back shoulder throw to a tight end. First one was completed. This one was intercepted. This next one is intercepted. The fourth pass, again, same throw I'm throwing over and over again, is incomplete. So you're seeing diversity even on the same route, same coverage, same ball placement. You're seeing different things happening. And that's what I mean by diversity in my sliders. It creates different plays, dynamic gameplay for you based off of what Madden's given us. And I really like that, and I hope you do too. Another thing I want you to remember with these sliders is that reading your defense. So here you got Christian McCaffrey lined up against a linebacker. He should win that matchup every time. And I throw that ball right here. I've released it in a touch pass, and he just beats the guy out of the cut. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is a crazy good route runner, and no linebacker in space is gonna be able to keep up with him, and that's caught for an easy first down. Now here is an angle from the quarterback so you can see when I threw that ball. I threw it coming right out of the break. Of course, I had pressure coming from my right side. Remember, there's only about 3 seconds to throw this ball in Madden, and that's super realistic. So you have to read correctly and get rid of it. Again, here's something else where I'm just doing a bullet pass. So you can accomplish the same play a bunch of different ways and get different results. That one, I turned it upfield, almost got a touchdown. Here's another bullet pass, but this time I get caught from behind because the accuracy thrown by Matt Corral was a little bit out of front of Christian McCaffrey. If we watch that again, causes him to stumble and causes the linebacker to catch up with him and make the tackle. So there's 3 different plays. I've already talked about this. There's so much diversity in these sliders. I really like where they're at. Another play here, San Francisco, Matt Corral in here, and I throw an underneath route. Now I'm pausing this because you will see this happen a lot with base Madden. This ball will get undercut by the defender who's looking in at the quarterback and is caught for a touchdown or caught for an interception. But in this play, Rashard Higgins is able to catch it, and because the defender tries to over pursue and catch the interception, he's actually thrown out of the play. So watch this. Higgins, outstretched arms, attacks the ball, catches it, and the defender's out in front of him now. He pushes him off and goes upfield. Now that is a really cool, realistic play. I really like that. Here's another good example of an interception happening here. Pressure coming off the end. Nick Bosa beating Ike Ekwonu, a high draft pick, left tackle, but he's no match for Nick Bosa at this point in his career. Now, Matt Corral had time to throw it, but because the pressure was getting there, he threw it a little out front. Nick Bosa's coming into play here, and because of that, it forces an inaccurate throw by a rookie quarterback to a receiver who's pretty much open, just a little bit out in front, and that forces an interception. Here's another angle of good offensive line play. There's so much good about this play that really shows these sliders. Nick Bosa is going to beat Icky to the outside. Nice little speed by Nick Bosa on this outside pursuit. Pushes Icky down to the ground and puts pressure on Matt Corral, which forces an interception. That is a realistic NFL play for you if I have ever seen one. And the cool thing about it is that a lot of times Icky beat Nick Bosa. Obviously, Bosa isn't going to win every single snap. And I really like that about these sliders. Here's another cool play. Trey Lance throwing to Brandon Ayuk. And notice where the ball placement is. It's away from his body, a little inaccurate to his right. And look what happens. Because he's not able to secure this catch fast enough, whenever he gets hit, if we zoom in here and look at this, again, a little inaccurate, thrown off to the right, no pressure in Trey Lance's face. This is just an inaccurate ball, quote unquote inaccurate. And because of that, Brandon Ayuk actually drops this when he gets hit by the defender. Here's another example of Trey Lance, wide open guy, but he's got pressure in his face. You see the defensive tackle, that might be Derrick Brown for the Panthers, coming in and hitting Trey Lance, causes an incomplete pass. That is a pass that most quarterbacks are going to be able to make in the NFL, but because there's pressure in his face, because of the sliders, I think a little bit helping out there with the quarterback actually, he's not able to get that pass off for an easy completion. All right, guys, so here are my sliders. Remember, player skill will control the user-controlled team. Even if you're not controlling a player and the CPU is moving, this controls the CPU on your user-controlled team. Important to remember, okay? So player skill, QB accuracy is 48. This allows some more diversity in QBs inaccurately throwing balls from time to time. Even if you've got a guy who's open, you might place it in the wrong spot, which kind of creates a lot of different possibilities to happen in the play. Pass blocking 57. We know pass blocking it's tough, but what you got to remember is that you got to move around in the pocket, move up, move down, left, right. Make sure that you are reading the play before snapping the ball. Read the defense. Very important to remember. Wide receiver catch. Now drop that by one. Just again, wide receivers don't catch every ball. I do feel like the user's catching ability is a little too strong. I might change that on the next one. We'll see. Run blocking of 48. Again, I'm really good at run blocking. Maybe some people aren't. I dropped it down by 2. Remember, read the hole, go through the hole, commit. If you make wrong reads, you're not going to be able to run all day. But if you do read your holes correctly, you shoot the right gaps, you'll have a really good time running the ball. Fumbles, we left it at 50. Pass defensive reaction times at 65. This allows your team to react faster when the QB throws the ball. Helps with pass breakups, helps with possibilities of getting interceptions. And instead of increasing coverage too much, I increased that. That way it allows the CPU to throw the ball and then your defense react and again, force pass breakups. Interceptions dropped a little bit to 43 so that you're not intercepting the ball quite as much. If you user the ball, then you're going to have a really high success rate of catching an interception. So just keep that in mind. Pass coverage at 65. Tackling is at 73. One of the biggest issues in Madden right now is that the CPU breaks way too many tackles on all Madden. This helps with that a lot actually. You'll still have some of your defenders get their tackles shed, especially if you're hit sticking or diving. Remember that diving got nerfed this year in Madden, quote unquote nerf, and hit sticking, you really have to be squared up on the ball carrier if you want that hit stick to be successful. Now, CPU skill will control the entire team for the computer, for the CPU. All right, so first we dropped the quarterback accuracy down to 32 to help again with the quarterback not being like a robo quarterback where they can complete every single pass. We increased the pass blocking to 52. I thought the quarterback was getting sacked too much, but he's still having 3-4 seconds and they got to get the ball out. The average time for a QB to get rid of the ball in the NFL is 3 seconds. And I feel like with what we got, it's really, really close. Wide receiver catching down to 45 to help out with some pass breakups, helps out with the quarterback accuracy overall as far as stats, and it prevents the wide receiver from catching every single pass that's thrown their way. Run blocking decreased down to 45. I do think it sometimes can be very hard to shed blocks in the running game. If you're on defense, this helps out with that. We left fumbles down to 50. Pass defense reaction time, dropped it down by 3 to 47. This helps a little bit with routes being undercut and the CPU making an amazing play on the ball. Sometimes it almost seems like they know it before you know it. Interceptions drop down to 20 so that even if they get their hands on the ball, they might drop the pass. I'm still seeing a high conversion rate. In the NFL, interceptions are only caught like 10, 15, 20% of the time. It's very, very low. And I might even have to drop this even more, but right now it feels pretty good. Pass coverage 43 allows you as the user to see the lanes open a little bit more. I think as we play Madden 23 more and more and get better at reading and stuff, this will probably have to get bumped up. Tackling is at 50, field goal power is at 55, and field goal accuracy is at 48. Punt power is at 55, and kickoff power is at 58. The reason why I increased the power is because the CPU they never max out their kick. They always kick it inside like the meter, and sometimes that prevents them from making field goals that they should, prevents them from the kickoffs going in the end zone so that you have touchbacks. Most of kickoffs now are touchbacks. Decreased accuracy by 2 on field goals to help out so that the computer isn't always making every single kick, but also it helps you out if you got a rainy day and you miss that little meter that you're supposed to get the kick in, you're probably going to miss it. Also helped out with punt accuracy. This is more for the CPU so that they have more coffin punt kicks where they get it inside the 10 more often. Now game options, injuries, I dropped down to 28. I'm seeing a nice, comfortable set of injuries. I'm not seeing as many as I would like, but I worry about injuries being so prominent that it kind of interrupts gameplay. So I might lower that later on down, might not. Fatigue's at 86. I really like fatigue where it's at. This might change when I get auto subs and put in and implemented, but for right now I'm seeing like running backs change in and out, linemen change in and out, I mean defensive linemen, so I like that. Minimum player speed thresholds at 50. I feel really good with how that is. That might change. Last year I think I had it on 52. If you want to use 52 or you have it somewhere you like it, some people even like it on 0, totally up to you. Penalties, again, I've talked about this plenty of times in the past. Penalties just don't happen in Madden. They've came out, said that they didn't want penalties in the game because they felt like it interrupted the game flow, and they didn't want that to affect your game. They didn't want that to be the reason why you lost the game. But we all know in NFL, that's the reason why you lose games sometimes. If your players are undisciplined and make a penalty in a critical moment, that is the reason you lose. And again, I'm trying to create realism here. So offside 75, false start 75, holdings at 99, defensive pass interference is at 99, face mask is at 65. I have, of course, OPI, kick catch interference, intentional grounding. All these are on. Illegal blocking the back and roughing the passer I have on 50. I actually think roughing the passer, if you touch the quarterback, the flag is thrown. They've done a good job with that. So that's it for my sliders. If you have any questions, remember, follow me on Twitter. You can shoot me a DM. You can message me. You can join the Discord, message me on there. Again, I'm just more active on Twitter. I'm gonna get to your messages more promptly. Also remember, if you want to join the channel, you can and become a member. I will create sliders specifically for you. Again, everybody plays different. Maybe you have a different way of playing. Maybe you like my sliders, but they don't fit your play style quite perfectly. Well, I can make those sliders fit perfectly just for you. If you enjoyed the content, learned something, if it helped you out, please drop a like down on the video, subscribe so you never miss anything. It helps me grow tremendously. I greatly appreciate everybody's support, and I'll catch everybody later. Peace out.